Good morning. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Show. Good morning and welcome. Mary Poppins style hat today.
Mary Poppins?
Mary
Page
Poppins.
Boy.
Good
Okay.
old Mary Poppins.
I hear you. I hear you. Oh, we got a delayed response there.
Nah,
Uh-oh.
nah.
That's your theme
It
music.
sounds like Bonanza.
That's
That sounds like Bonanza.
that's your theme music, right?
Yeah. What's the
What's the what?
that theme tune that he played? What was that originally from?
I don't remember. I just know that in every Western kind of movie, it kind of comes up. I've seen it with Clint Eastwood and all these other ones
Yeah. Anyway,
in there.
could we
Having a clue.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you did, Everett. Tomorrow is Rosca de Reyes Day. Correct, James?
That is correct. Rosca de Reyes. Yes.
So, in anticipation of Rosca de Reyes Day, can you explain what Rosca de Reyes?
Sure. So
Well,
Rosca,
actually, because my Spanish is so poor, would you like to pronounce it your way?
Rosca de Reyes.
Okay, good. So it's his way.
Yes.
All right. So,
So-
just explain to everybody what I've got in front of me and what the idea is.
So Rosca means wreath, right? And Reyes is king. So it's a wreath of kings, and it's a symbolization of they make this dish and they bake in a little doll, which is a representation of baby Jesus, to kind of commemorate, I guess, after the holiday season, when King Herod was trying to kill baby Jesus. He was aware that he was going to be the savior of the world, and Mary and Joseph went on hiding. That's how it all took place. So that's the representation, and the key is to they bake it inside this loaf or this wreath of bread type substance, and whoever gets the piece, much like the king cake, actually that is actually pushed during Mardi Gras season. So very very similar, but this has a more religious connotation, as I understand it.
You just did this to push my religious buttons.
Hey man, whatever happens,
I know.
don't be mad, man.
So
Watch out for
inside this-
Jesus.
What's inside this? A dinosaur?
Nope, there's a baby Jesus is in there, representation of baby Jesus.
And then our agents downstairs said they would like me to cut the cake and you to cut the cake.
Okay.
But they didn't say how many times.
Oh well, I think
So I think we should keep cutting until we find the baby.
Well, I'm a follower of Christ, so I'm sure I'll find it on the first go around.
Oh well. In that case, go on.
Oh man,
on.
here we go.
Hold it up.
We go.
Come on.
Let's see.
I hope everybody's watching.
Where am I being led?
What's the
Sure, of course you want to.
I'll tell you what I'll do to be fair to you, okay? Because you've got the first cut. Because the more cuts we make, then the more cuts we make, then easier it is to find. All right, go make a cut of a reasonable size that you think is. I mean, do you want to do a half first?
I'm going to cut down the. It looks like someone's cut down. These.
Yeah, some of the agents
here.
downstairs they had a go.
So I'm going to just cut. Cut him in the next area where I think.
What hymn do you think you should be singing while you're cutting?
Well, I don't know that we want to do any singing on the show. We don't want to offend anyone. Oh, is there? Hold on. Is there a baby in there? No, there's no baby in there. Swing and a miss on mine. I didn't get them. Would you like to try, my good sir?
Sure.
It's never too late to get a slice of Jesus.
I was thinking of cutting something like this way.
Oh, you're trying to go through several of them at the same time.
Well, you said one cut, and I'm thinking, well, mathematically, what I learned at school.
Well, actually, if you cut it that way, you could probably, depending on where it is, because I'm assuming that it's laying in there vertically. So if you cut it horizontally, you might do a better job in catching it, because it might be in one of those sides there. What are you feeling? How are you feeling it? There you go. Talk to him, Lord. Talk to him. Talk to this man. Oh, well. If he's in there, you've pierced his side, his head, his back. You've done it all. You're killing it in there, man.
No, he ain't in that. And I'm not really into the cake thing, to be perfectly honest.
Well, see, I wasn't quite sure on how.
Sweet bread.
Yeah, so if it was savory or sweet. So
It's sweet.
okay. Well, it's there.
So what are we gonna do?
How about try this one? Try
This one?
try that one. Try that one. Yeah.
Do we cut it?
Yeah,
This
just
way,
cut
or
it
should
cut
we
it
cut
down
it
the
that
center.
way?
So, whichever.
I just think then we can get to.
Yeah, let's see what we got. Man, did they put is baby Jesus in this one?
I think this is the dud.
No, it's not. I said that.
If anybody wants to pop
Nothing?
by, no.
Man, you don't have many left.
If anybody wants to pop by the office today for
But you got a few pieces.
tea and crumpets, I guess we could use this for crumpets.
Oh man.
Where's baby Jesus?
You only
Baby
got
Jesus is playing hide and seek.
you only got one left, one side left.
Although you have Blanca Ortiz saying you need to open it up, meaning you can't just slice the cake. You have to open it up like a Christmas present.
So you'd have to dig in like a caveman?
That's what I said originally. You've got to this poor, beautiful looking cake.
So you basically bake this to destroy it.
Yes.
Isn't that what all cake is?
And using my fingers, I don't feel comfortable with, to be perfectly honest. Not when people.
There it
Oh,
is.
Look.
Oh, it's tiny.
Hold up to the camera.
It's tiny.
It looks like Beyonce.
Oh. Like Beyonce.
There you go. There you go. Who do you think it looks like?
It I don't know. Looks like
It don't look like Jesus at all. Jesus has got a beard.
Well, no. It's a baby, Stephen. It's a baby.
So is it a baby and Jesus in here we're looking
It's
for?
a baby. That's what it is. So you found it. Congratulations. I already had Jesus. How telling.
I guess
Hey.
we'll enjoy this with some
How
coffee later.
telling. Yes. It's in there.
So, all
Congratulations.
all good fun, and sticky fingers offerings.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Now I didn't taste it, of course, but I know king cake is delicious.
Now that's a New Orleans thing.
Yeah, well, around Mardi Gras, you'll start seeing those pop up in grocery stores. And my assumption, of course, that there's some basis surrounding it. And those of you that celebrate the holiday, hopefully I did some justice in explanation on it, my limited knowledge in it. But Hell King, Jesus, there you go. All right, man, what we got going? First of all, I have to say this, and it's not real estate, but we got to put it out there. Damar Hamlin is awake and was holding the hands of his family members, and that is a blessing. How fitting after we've pulled Jesus out of the cake. But anywho, this is the young man that got hurt at the football game, Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. He is awake and recovering. They said he's made great progress over the last 24 hours. So we are grateful that he is alive and well and breathing and alert. So, all right, that's all I had on that.
Yeah, we had a comment yesterday. You took it down, Everett, about somebody has a comment and says Texas Real Estate Show, the housing market is tanking and will continue throughout 2003.
Who is
Laugh out loud.
Who is this Simon idiot?
My opinion is, Mr. Simon, you have not got a clue what you're on about.
Not even close.
You have not got a clue because a lot of it depends on areas. That's the first thing, location. We're going to talk about that a little bit today, actually, on the various factors that are going to impact the value of your property. In the south, we're going to have very, very little fluctuations, but it's not going to tank like people think. It just isn't. It is simply not going to tank.
Now, I will say this.
New York, California,
there are some areas that were over inflated anyways. And if you want to consider those areas tanking, I wouldn't say so you use that term, but it's more that they're normalizing because many of them were too high in the first place. So what we'll see in 2023 is just more of a normalized market where the price of real estate will be where it should have been in the first place. We just got greedy, and some people bought homes for more than what they were worth, paid the difference, and now it's normalizing. That doesn't mean it's a tanking. That means you paid too much.
Originally, you paid too much for the house.
Paid too much, and there is a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that sort of came to my desk this week was we have a number of properties that we manage for overseas investors, some in China, and some other countries. We have a lot of them in Hong Kong. Basically, in Canada, they've just brought in a law now that has banned people that don't have a Canadian license from buying Canadian properties. And I wanted to know, what was your opinion of that?
Banning them from buying property if they don't have a license?
No. If they don't have basically they don't have a passport. If they are not a Canadian citizen, they cannot buy a property in Canada.
Well, I'm not certain what the economic growth plan is for Canada. And quite frankly, Justin Trudeau, he's done things a little bit different over the years, but
I'll be honest with you. I like Canada and I love Canadians.
Well, they're different. They're America Junior.
Their wildlife is.
I call them America Junior, right? They've got some things that are close to ours, but
their healthcare is above ours.
Well, that's debatable. It all depends on where your thoughts are with it. But we have limitations here as well for people that don't have, the proper documentation, so on and so forth. But to say that if you don't, if you're not from, hold on, if you're not from Canada, or if you're just foreign period. So, for instance, you go there to work, right, for a job, and you're there on a permanent, duty station or whatever. Are they included? So you can't buy anything at all? Because I wasn't certain on what all the details were with this. Because you're still a foreigner, but I'm working and paying taxes in the Canadian society, which you would think that would make you eligible to buy some kind of property there.
Absolutely. Because one of the things that sort of... There's some countries in the world that... a 2-year ban on some foreigners buying homes in Canada has come into effect. The ban aims to help ease one of the most unaffordable housing markets in the world. As of this summer, the average home price in Canada is $777,000 Canadian dollars for a home, more than 11 times the median household income after taxes.
So it's just a ban. It's not a 2-year ban. It's not forever.
Right now, there are some countries in the world where you cannot buy land and you cannot own property if you haven't got a passport of that country. Thailand is one of them. I think Vietnam is one of them as well.
Okay.
So there are countries out there that you can't actually own land.
I think the idea behind this is to help the people that are from the country, though.
I think the idea behind it is to help first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
I was talking to an appraiser yesterday. He's one of our agents. Real nice guy. His name is Richard Estrada. And he was basically saying the big problem that we have in America is not... the big problem that we have in Houston is not necessarily the prices of the houses, is the demand from the houses from the corporations. He says 50% of the homes in Houston are all corporations. All the appraisals that he's done for this year are investment organizations that are getting together to buy them houses. He says, that's what we should do. We should be offering more homes to, first-time home buyers.
In that case, that makes sense. because many times, and I think you and I talked about this before, when interest rates first went up, and we were telling people, listen, this is not the time to pull your horses back. You need to stay on track because
Right.
the market is very competitive when interest rates are low because corporations are coming in and buying multiple properties and then renting them. And then as
Right.
homeowners,
And
you
people
can't
are,
even get in to buy a
absolutely
property.
right, and then people are coming in and flipping the homes,
Yeah.
which is adding to the problem again.
And that's probably why they're stopping that in Canada because you got to be a citizen there so they can kind of keep a control on these outside entities coming in just to make a big profit.
Right. And one of the things I can never understand with some of these people that say they want to get into flipping, and they don't think it through. That when you flip a house, if you keep it for less than 12 months, what have you got to pay? 30% tax?
Yeah, your capital gains.
Yeah, and then if it's from 13 to 24, what have you got to pay? 18%?
It's a
Or
lot.
15% out of your profit. So by the time you finish, there ain't much profit there.
Right.
There really isn't. I mean, yes, you can expense it, but I just think it's people don't, think things through as they should do. But I'd like to get a little bit more information from Mr. Simon. First of all, I appreciate you making your comments in the chat. But I'd like to see how you feel that is going to do. I think there's people out there that are trying to play scaremongery. I think the stock market's going to be hit a damn sight more than what the real estate market, because traditionally everybody turns to real estate.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, a lot of the investors that we know that have been investing in stocks are now actually all of a sudden, for some reason, turning to real estate. New home builders are making incentives, aren't they, for people to buy new houses?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why is that? Because they overpriced them in the first place.
Yep.
It's a little bit like somebody listing a house on the street, and if you really don't know what it should be valued at, then you go out there and offer one price, but you don't know if you're overpaying for that particular property, initially. Moving on. And I just wanted your opinion as well, James, about, I found this article on Yahoo Finance, and I thought it was actually pretty interesting. First of all, it looks like, if you look at the top of the screen, our stock markets, as we were saying, aren't doing too well at the moment, which backs up what I says about real estate. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
You talk about the losses that, with the losses that I've made, to be perfectly honest, the last 9 months, and put them towards buying a house, I'd be better off now than what I would have been.
Yeah.
And thanks to Mr. Musk with Tesla. And obviously the first one has always been location. What would you say to that? Important?
I think it can be.
I think I would agree with that.
Being in a desirable location matters for sure.
Yeah, and
It definitely matters.
Do you think that changes though with times, as in gas prices?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because when everything was low and cheap, people started moving to the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
Now gas had gone back up. You kind of regret that a little bit.
I think there's going to be a time when new homes are automatically going to come with the option of an electric plug-in for a car, or it's going to be included in the price. Because if they don't use it, they're never going to use it. But it's there if they want it, whether it be in the garage or whether. I really think there's going to be a time with the new houses.
I could see that happening.
The government might even turn around and say, we want you to do it, whatever. So obviously the location to consider. Now, I know the other one is you've had some conversations with some of your clients, haven't you, about the size of their home?
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on that? The size of the home can be, an impact on its value, because on the whole, what are you doing? You're paying on the value per square foot. Hence, use a professional, not a part-time professional, but a full-time professional, to try and get a true value of a house, don't rely on
Well,
appraisal values.
it definitely makes a difference, the size of the home. That's why many times when people they go and they drop a pool in the backyard, and they realize that that did not instantly increase their property by $40,000, because what if I want your house, but I can't swim? That pool means nothing to me. You may as well fill it in with dirt. The best way to increase value.
There's some people that just absolutely don't want a pool.
Well, that's my point. The best way to increase value with a property is to add square footage. That's how it's priced. When you talk about pricing, you'll see an appraisal will say this home was $200 per square foot, and the more square footage you have, the higher the value will be. So it's kind of a common sense thing, but many people don't realize that. They think going in, oh, I can go put a pool, or I can go and put in hardwood floors, or I can go and put in, new carpet, or I can. So maybe I don't want new carpet, or maybe I want the concrete floors or something. Square footage is definitely a way to get that value.
But there's a downside with that as well, because obviously from a long-going factor, there's also that can be in a position where it'll increase your ongoing costs. Your electric.
Oh yeah,
your gas
could.
And everything else.
It could.
So, but I do agree with the initial value. I think that's important. The next factor that they came up with was age and condition.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's a
one of those no-brainer kind of deal with that.
I personally would have it the other way around. I would have location, and I'd have condition second.
Oh yeah.
You see, I would have it the other way around. I don't think age comes into it too much in relation to if I've got a house that was built in 1972, so technically it could have lead-based paint, and I've got a foundation warranty on that house by a reputable company, then that wouldn't really bother me, too much if I was buying that house or even for one of my clients. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you want to get as much as you can for your buck.
Right.
But my whole thing is with the condition thing. I've always put it in order, to be perfectly honest: location, condition, and then age.
And I will say that I think you will get more bang for your buck many times if it's an older home.
Yeah.
And people, they want new, but you have to get in the mindset and realize that it's not. We're not buying a car. We're buying a home, and a home is built to last. They last a long time. So in your example, would you go out and looking for a 1972 car? No. But you could buy a home that was built in 1972, because it can be updated, and as long as it's up to code, then you probably got some good bones in that house. I mean, you don't want no knob and tube electrical or anything like that that burn the place down, but you definitely want that it was up to code and such. So
now the next factor I find a little bit interesting, because I want to ask this to you from a lender's perspective. All right. Renovational potential. Because you sort of touched on that a little bit when you said about, a swimming pool, well, that depends whether you swim or not. If not, you can fill it with dirt. Although that's not a renovation, but when we was looking at houses, we didn't want a pool because we got children.
Okay.
All right. As it happened, we had a neighbour with a pool, and we'd rather go over and sit down at the side of the pool, have a bottle of beer with the
Enjoy
neighbour.
them, right?
Yeah. Plus, the beer was free. So, with renovational potential, what's your sort of feelings on that? Do you think there's any renovations that will increase the value? I mean, I went to look at a property the weekend, and it looked like a rat's nest. It was horrible, and it was somebody that had inherited the home from a father who had passed.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone through probate. she has not got the money to fix the house up. All right. She does not want to sell the house, so she'd rather live,
In the rat's
in my
nest.
opinion, in the rat's nest.
Mm.
And I tried to help this lady, and all she's concerned about is, well, the houses up the road sold for $350,000,
Yep.
but they was fixed up, they was renovated, they was move-in ready, and this poor lady, who's getting on a bit, wants somebody to move in, fix the house up for her, and she wants to continue to live downstairs until she dies. So, renovation potential, to me, if I said renovate to me, I always say the value is in the kitchen and in the bathrooms.
It is. And quite frankly, this renovation potential, it's all subjective when it comes for the buyer. Um,
Is that
every,
person
everyone
is that
can't-
person looking for yellow walls
yeah,
and you pick?
everyone can't see past, the like when we set this podcast room up, right? We kind of had an idea what we wanted it to look like, and then we set it up. Some people can't do that. Some people just cannot see past yellow walls or purple walls or whatever. So they'll be turned off by
And-
looking at that listing online because it
And
has
the
those
other-
walls on there.
The other part that I thought was interesting is what people forget about renovation potential is, are we talking about the plumbing being updated with, from a stainless steel pipe to a PVC pipe throughout the house? Are we talking about the electric being updated from an aluminium wiring, to a new wiring? There is a new type of electrical box because the codes are changing all the
Right.
time.
All the time.
So when you go back and you say that the age of the house is, the house might be older, but has it been renovated with the correct things in mind, or has it just been touched up like the icing on a cake and made it look nice?
Right.
And when you really get to the nitty gritty of it, then all of a sudden you've got yourself a problem, because it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't work. It's like, and I think you used the right term when you said it's very subjective. It's what you're actually renovating that makes the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. If someone asks a comment, what's a renovation advice for a rat hole I'm currently living in, trying to rent out some property? Well, if you're trying to rent out a property, first of all, you got to get the rats out. Nobody wants to live. They might be your rats, but I don't want rats in my property. I don't want it. That would be a first step towards getting it, at least to the potential to where someone else might want to live in that thing, because rats are not they're not common pets.
Well, my advice to you is, if that's the case and somebody unfortunately is in that position, my answer to you is, just hold on, I'm just going into something. Here we go.
Yeah, it's not a good deal. Nobody deals with rats unless you're a
they
Ninja
don't.
Turtle.
But my idea would be basically, it depends what your. It really depends on what's your advice for the rat hole I'm currently.
Yeah, that's one I just read.
I know.
Yeah.
Trying to rent out some property. If you're renting the property, all right, are they the landlord or are they the tenant? I'm currently living in.
No, that sounds like they're living in a rat hole and they want to rent out their rat hole.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to get it fixed up.
Exactly.
Because just as what a lot of landlords forget is tenants have rights too.
They do.
And my suggestion to you is everybody has the right to live in a clean, and health and safety environment. So, to be perfectly honest, that's really what you need to do. But everybody just has that right, don't they? Jane gets the crown. You got the crown in the cake?
I did. Oh no. Oh, I think you got it.
Well, you're apparently.
Erica Yeager says James gets the crown.
Mm.
I'm surprised you didn't read the part where you're getting breakfast tomorrow.
That's good. Because it's only the admin staff that's in the office tomorrow. Okay. But yeah, no. If you live in a rat hole, I suggest you try and get it fixed up as much as you can. But a lot depends on what you can afford to either do yourself or get a professional. And professionals are getting so expensive. So expensive. I'd love to get an AC guy on the show. If we could get a local AC company on the show, I'd love to get one on. We've just had some problems with some water chilled units, and that in itself has been an absolute headache. So, and then the next thing on the list, James, is interest rates. Now, I'm going to say don't worry too much about the interest rates.
Yeah, same as I said last week. Don't worry about that. Just get in there and buy.
Because if you've got, because of the interest rates have gone up, you've now got more negotiating at your fingertips. You've got sellers that are carrying the properties on the market a little bit longer. So when you argue that, well, it's, I'm paying more on my mortgage, the sellers are paying more on their mortgages as well. So they're more motivated to sell. And I think there's an awful lot of hype out there. The market's going to crash. When you look at, Barbara Cochran, I think, had a YouTube video out there, and she doesn't think the market's going to crash that much. She thinks it's going to, dip or, a little bit, but it's not going to crash to the point where, the bolts are falling off the wheels.
Right.
And there's no way that's going to happen. There's no way that can happen. I mean, you know what happened with the Quality Mortgage Act.
Yeah.
As soon as that came in. When I spoke to Richard yesterday, the appraiser, he said the same thing. He said there's just not going to be, the foreclosures that there might be. I think you might see some short sales. That's what I do think you're going to see.
It's so much tougher to get a mortgage now. So I think it'll be.
And I use this example to sort of answer Scott. Let me give Scott an example. A new home buyer that we put into a house about 18 months ago paid $350 house near where James lives on a corner lot, 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, and it was at the time it was the biggest one on that lot. About 12 months later, the house across the street, sold for $475,000. Wasn't as big on the square footage, wasn't as big as the lot, but sold for $475. Out of them two people, which one do you think is going to be upside down on their mortgage in 12 months' time? Well, in next year.
Shoot,
it's the one that bought it for $475 because they overpaid the price.
Yeah, anytime you overpay, because there's no guarantee it's going to creep up to that amount. Appreciation is inevitable, but if you put yourself upside down, I mean, that you blame yourself, period. That's where we are. So,
but people are worrying a little bit, about their interest rates at the moment.
Yeah, they are what they are. We can't control it.
But you think they might come down in the summer, James?
I think they'll come down this quarter.
Really? When's the next CPI meeting?
Oh, we got job reports tomorrow. So the Fed meetings, I think it's later in the month.
So there is one this month.
I think there is one.
Okay. I didn't know. I really didn't know, to be perfectly honest. If you know,
I'll tell you, January 31st
yeah.
is the first one. So we shall see what happens.
Well, with that being said, and with my phone call ringing, and I haven't got a clue who it is, that brings us to the end of the Texas Real Estate Show.
Yes, sir.
This week, we want to thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'd like you to obviously copy all the links and get people. We'd like to get, this is an informational channel only, and it's there for informational and entertainment purposes only. But we would really like, to get your comments. Simon, reach out and let us know, why you think the market is, going to tank. And if you say tank, put some numbers to it. I think it's a very vague number. If you think the numbers are going to tank, do you think it's going to tank 20%, 50%? Because if that's the case, 50%, I just don't think that's going to
Yeah.
happen.
And what does tank mean really for you? Yeah.
So I would like to, extend my gratitude for the thanks. But anyway, with that being said, we will see you all next week. Good night, God bless, as my mom used to say. Peace.
Take care.